Sup, fools? It's right from scratch. We're doing Doctor Who right from scratch today. It's right from scratch. Hello, I am Ryan, and this right here, where the fuck is he? This right here is Alan. Welcome to Doctor Who right from scratch. I'm glad it doesn't count that as the first 8 seconds. Or no monetization for me. Hi. Hope we're all doing good. I thought that your Jeb Bush as the Pope joke was funny, Najawin. I get it. I thought it was a good joke. So okay, how are you all doing today? What's going on? So the way this show works is you pick Doctor, Companion, Monster, and then we write a story. So we're going to start with Doctor. So think about suggestions for what Doctor Who you would like to see in this right from scratch, and then we'll see what we can do. We'll see. I'm going to put 15 as a deep pick. We have 12 picks per category. You're very welcome, Najawin. Alright, let's see. Yeah, no, I want to see some Doctor. David Banks, Doctor. There you go. Requires knowledge of American politics and of the selected Pope, of which I have not much. I did, so... I read an article about the new Pope where it was like, you know, he's actually very progressive. I mean, he doesn't like women, he doesn't like gay people, but he's very progressive. That's the main narrative I've seen. 45th Doctor again. Okay. That's a suggestion. Second Doctor, Barbara Benedetti Doctor is a good shout. Benedetti Doctor. 8th Doctor. What else have we got? What else have we got going on? Let's fill this wheel up. Hugh David Doctor. Who the fuck is Hugh David? Who's Hugh David? I'm gonna look him up and see if I recognize him. Oh. Don't know who that is. Some guy. Some guy who might have been Doctor Who but wasn't. That's what I'm getting from this. Answer Doctor. Very progressive for a Pope. Third Doctor. Alright, we now have 7, so I'm looking for 5 more. I'm looking for 5 more. The Pope Doctor? No. No, how about the Nope Doctor? How about that? Hugh David is an actor who was originally supposed to be the first Doctor. I see. I see. I see. I see. And what other suggestions have you got? Because it's going to be really hard to thumbnail that because all the images of him are cropped and in black and white. The decayed corpse of the Doctor being puppeteered by a Whovian company in an ever-increasing... what's that Doctor's name again? It's something. It's definitely something. The Doctor, but it's played by Yasmin Finney. Season 2B Doctor. Do you mean Season 6B Doctor? I'm going to assume you mean Season 6B Doctor. I'm going to assume you mean that. Doctor 15, already on the list. Already on the list, Nick. David Tennant. Which David Tennant? Which David Tennant, Najawin? The unanswered Doctor, played by Nya. I'm about to die. Oh no! Ah! Okay. No, I'm still dying. Okay. No, I meant Pope Doctor the 5th. No. I meant David Tennant, the actor. Okay, I'll put David Tennant, the actor, on there then. But they're the only David Tennant we're putting in this. Shout out to the motorcycle that just drove by your window. Yeah, shout out to them. Gordon Ramsay, Doctor. Come on, you know I'm not going to put that on. You know I'm not going to put that on. And you know that the longer we take doing this, the less time we have to write the actual story. If we don't have any more, then I'm just going to spin it. We're just going to go. That's not a doctor. Oof. No, so as the guy who was the doctor who became the increasing self-parody. The 16th Doctor played by David Tennant. I'm just going to spin the wheel. I'm just going to spin the wheel. I'm just going to spin the wheel. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late. It's too late. We're going with the ones on the wheel. Oof. Looks like it might be the second Doctor. That's very possible. We'll see. We'll see. Hi, James Box. It might also be the 8th Doctor, played by Richard E. Grant. Who else could it be? Hello, James Box. How you doing? 2 families. The 2 families, Doctor. Oh, Benedetti, Doctor. Nice. Hello, Toya. Hello, Toya Tacoma. How you doing? Good to see you. All right, let's spin this wheel again because we still don't have an answer.
Yeah, baby.
Good, thanks. You? I'm doing okay. I'm a little tired today, but I'm doing okay. I am doing okay.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, let's spin it again. Haha. Eighth Doctor. It looks like it's going to be Paul McGann today. Okay. Oh. You can do that. Alright, Paul McGann. Okay, so now we need to think about companions. What companion are we going to give Paul McGann's Doctor? This is very important. What suggestions have you got? The Pope has a Duolingo. Put the new Pope in both the companions and the villains list. I'd rather just not include them at all, to be honest. The ruminant. I don't know what the ruminant is. Opposite of Comrade Clark. Come on, guys. Come on. Suggest some real companions. I never have time to write a good story because we always have to go through this. Victoria. Mike Yates redemption arc. Mike Yates. I'll put Mike Yates on the Duolingo out. Clara. For companion, Jamie. Okay, we can do Jamie. We can do Jamie. Kate Stewart, that's a good one. Okay, what else have you got? What else have you got? The ruminant is an intelligent cow that is actually Stephen Taylor in disguise. That's the Russell T Davies 2 thing, right? K9? K9. What else you got? What other suggestions do we have? Dodo? Unit, except they're actually... No! Oof! What's this skibbity stream? It's an RTD2 idea he scrapped. Shirley / the Blink / Rose Noble / the kid from season 1 finale. Anyone from the... Okay. What are we doing? I wasn't here. We're doing companions right now. We're doing companions, and people keep making ironic joke suggestions, not understanding that you're just holding up the show by doing that. And I just have to sit here in dead air, waiting for people to suggest things I can actually put on the wheel. Are we doing good, guys, here, like companions? Yes, Ramada's a good one. So Najawin keeps suggesting ones from the novels that I haven't read and so don't know how to characterize. Frobisher. It's a cool idea I don't know how to write. I don't... Compassion is the one that's a human TARDIS, right? If I put compassion on and it lands on compassion, my stipulation is the only lines of dialogue they're going to get are, I'm compassion, I'm a human TARDIS. Yes. Yes. Spider-Man, because they wanted to make him the companion once, but Marvel said no. That's not a bad suggestion. So you can do outsidery suggestions, but like, I have to know how to characterize them. She also turns into a city, you can say that too. A very sweet little ball python someone handed to the Doctor. I'm not going to put that on the companion wheel, but I will try and work out a way to work that into the story. Maxwell is quite a good suggestion. I vibe with Maxwell a lot more than I vibe with Von Hartman in terms of what we could potentially do. We got one more. We got one more. We made it to 12 on this one. What are we doing? Danny the Street. Gwen Cooper in her cheating on her boyfriend. The Ninth Doctor. Yeah, I see that getting retracted. I see, yeah. I see that. The Midnight Entity just along for a laugh. Lucifer from Hellscape. Iconic Doctor Who character. Gwen Cooper, but she's I feel like you're doing this on purpose now. Martha Jones. But Ryan, haven't you listened to Torchwood 1 starring Yvonne Hartman? No, I don't listen to Big Finish because I'm working class. Ace is the pick, I think. Alright. I've always wanted to slip that joke in there. Somewhere. So I'm very happy I got to. Hey, Perry Brown, Mrs. Flood, Adric, the Rani. Oh yeah, because Spider-Man makes sense. It actually does, because Spider-Man is... One of the fundamental appeals of Spider-Man is that they're... Even though they're a Spider-Man and they have spider powers, they're also a regular person who reacts to situations like a normal person would. And that actually makes them okay as a Doctor Who companion. You just have to make sure that they're fighting a villain that would be a challenge for Spider-Man, that's all. But yeah, no, Spider-Man could totally work as a Doctor Who companion. Spider-Man works a lot better as a Doctor Who companion than Mrs. Flood, Lucifer, the Midnight Entity, Danny the Street, or Yvonne Hartman would. So is Gwen Cooper. No, Gwen Cooper would probably be okay too. But Ryan, isn't pirating Big Finish okay? Note the heavy irony in my saying that. Absalom Dak. I'm gonna you know what? I'm breaking my rules. I'm adding Absalom Dak to the will. Because it would be really funny if we don't land on the Daleks as villains and he's like, I just want to fight Daleks, though. La Noonien Singh from Star Trek is another person who would make a good suggestion for a companion, yes. Is the Dalek from Dalek a good companion? No! And you know that, Cookie Boy. Let's spin the wheel.
Yeah, baby.
Fuck. Okay, let's go again.
Yeah, baby.
Is Absalom Dak the Punisher for Daleks? Not really. Kind of, but not really. I'm trying to think of who You know what he's like? Imagine the Punisher, but they were created by Rob Liefeld. That's what Absalom Dak is.
Yeah, baby.
Oswald the Dalek. I love that Spider-Man is up there. Okay.
Yeah, baby.
Alright, we're gonna find it. We're gonna find it. Oof. It's gonna be fucking Mike Yates, isn't it? Kate Stewart!
Yeah, baby.
Oh dear. K9. It looks like it's K9! It looks like K9 is going to be our companion for today. And if any of you say 2 companions, I'm timing you out. What's next? Kate Lethbridge Stewart. We're doing villains now. Start thinking about villains. Start thinking about villains that you would like to see. Pope also had a Google Plus but never really used it. Relatable. Like the stream. Yeah, like the fucking stream. Free companions. Oh, Vishan, you know what? You know what? I was about to time you out, but you, like, exploited a technicality and a loophole, and I really respect that hustle, so I'm not going to time you out. Ryan, I'll like the stream if you add me as a villain. Like the stream anyway. Fuck. Lux. The Silence. What else we got? Those are good suggestions. The Watcher. Bluto. The Midnight Entity. Ugh. Hey, nothing's sacred anymore. Cannibal EU author. Oh, that's good, Vishan. The Decayed Master, but he's played... Ah, oh, that's quite good. That's quite good. That's quite good. Evil canine. A very determined and morally questionable marine biologist and the thing from Finland. Oh, that's such a good idea that I'm putting it in. Nah. Ian Linus? No, they don't exist. I don't know who Ian Linus is, but they don't exist. Statue of Liberty, Weeping Angel? Kate Lethbridge Stewart? Autons! Autons is quite good. I'll put Autons on. What else you got? Zombies, that is literally Stephen Shin from Aquaman. Cool. Guess we're doing that then. There was an evil canine of sorts in the Australian show Orpheus. Why'd they call him that? Mrs. Flood. Oh no, Kate thought Doctor Who would fight her. You know what? You know what? We're doing it. 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 Dravins. River Song during one of her evil phases. I'm going to put the Vervoids on. That's a good suggestion, Craig. I like the Vervoids. The Rani, but she... Coquillons, because I... Do you just say that because I don't know how to say it? A dyslexic cult who sees K9 as their dog. God damn it. Orpheus was apparently named after Greek mythology. Of course it was. Instant deep, just add Greek. It's been working for Borderlands. Cybermen cultists. Oh, that's kind of cool too. What I like about your suggestions, Toyota, is that your suggestions come with a premise baked in, and I appreciate that. Omega as a giant claw monster. Okay. Dear Lord, how are you predicting multiple episodes? Rogue Time Lords trying to escape the war? That's not a bad idea either. Unfortunately, I think we are out of space. So one more. The bird people, but from Rogue the Toy Maker, but more racist. Russell T. Davis. Russell T. Davis is just chasing Bormagan around with a pruning shear. Oh god. Oh god. Oh. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good to spin. The intelligent tigers from the book, but now a conquering empire. Zagreus, but 10 times louder. Alright, let's go. Let's go. Let's spin the wheel. Let's just do this.
Yeah, baby.
Kate Stewart! Fantastic. Alright, what's next? Cats from that other British sci-fi show.
Yeah, baby.
The Pope might also have a Twitter alt. The best minds are on it. Vervoids. Okay, it's either going to be Kate Stewart or Vervoids. Those are the current most likely picks.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, Cybermen cultists coming in there with the steel. Okay. You were so late. That's okay, Metal. That's okay. We're just picking a villain.
Yeah, baby.
Who is who? So right now we've got the 8th Doctor, K9, and we haven't decided on a villain yet.
Yeah, baby.
So we're just trying to do that right now. The Midnight Entity!
Yeah, baby.
I have a question for you guys. I have a question for you guys, and I want an honest answer from you. I want an honest answer from you on this question. It's very important, okay? If, by some miracle, I was able to get into the Bad Wolf writer's room, do you think I would be okay? I would be able to get away with, in the pitching phase, okay? Do you think I would be able to get away with walking up to the whiteboard in front of Russell T Davies, okay? And I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to give you visual aids. Okay. Do you think, alright, I would be able to get away with walking into the Doctor Who writer's room, walking up to the pitch whiteboard, okay, and writing this? I'm going to write the word midnight, okay? Do you think, alright, I would be able to get away with writing the word midnight on the board, writing the word S, okay, and then getting rid of the word S and replacing it with a $sign? Do you think that Russell T Davies would go for that pitch? Do you think I could get away with that? Your mom, why did you skip Cybermen Cultists? I didn't. They're on the wheel. We're going back to the wheel right now. If they win, they win. If they don't, they don't. And now for some reason the wheel of names is gone. There we go. We haven't skipped Cybermen Cultists. They have a chance of winning.
Yeah, baby.
What is this supposed to mean? Someone explain the premise. Oh my god! Oh my god, we're gonna do it! Hang on. Najawin said no because he wants it to be his ideas. Alright. I have a fix for this. Here's my fix, okay? Here's my fix. Get this, okay? So, we take midnight, alright? We take the S, we take away the S, we add the $, okay? And then, we add a little line there, and then we put, by Russell T Davies. What do you think now? Do you think that Russell would go for it? Midnight coin, let's make the BBC money on a pyramid scheme. K9. Monster, the Midnight Entity. Entity. Alright, start giving me pictures, people. Start giving me pictures, or I'm just going to remake Aliens and put the Midnight Entity in it. Because at the end of the day, if it's good enough for Russell T Davies, it's good enough for me. Still not his genius, it came from you and you're too uncultured. That's true, I am working class. Hello, Something Blue Audio. It's been a while. Hello, The Traveller. Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh my god. Ryan, can the K9 be the Australian one, K9 Mark II? What are the differences in K9 Mark II's characterization? As long as I know that, I can swing it. Midnight Entity whose motivations and abilities change every 2 sentences. Let's go. Najawin, I think that we should make midnights. I think in this one, there should be hundreds of them. And I think that we should go into deep detail about their reproductive cycle. And I think we should make the whole thing a metaphor for the fear of motherhood. The midnight entity is organic. Someone's trying to contain and communicate. Now, the one rule I have for this is there have to be hundreds of midnight entities. A team of explorers run into the Doctor on the Midnight Planet. They find out that K9 has a specific setting that allows him to see the creature. The Doctor and the K9 Mark 200 land on the Midnight Planet 100,000 years after the world. Well, and they have vicious, unprotected sex. What really gets me about that is the fact that it's vicious sex. He's round and he's in a more kid-oriented show. He farts at one point and uses technical terms. He insists that he has no emotions, which he is sad about despite clearly having emotions. He refers to kicking alien posterior rather than butt. There's hundreds of midnight entities under a space city. The Doctor has to figure out why they're not doing anything. If it's an aliens parody, then we need a team of one-note soldiers that have memorable traits and single Unit investigate the midnight entity on the planet Money. It does go hard though. You should watch. I still haven't heard the pitch yet. I'm gonna need some more from you guys. I think I'm gonna need just a little bit more sauce on these pitches. What are we gonna do? Bear in mind, we're going to give the midnight entity completely different powers and motivations. A midnight entity becomes human and leads more of them to one place. The midnight entity latches onto a passing explorer leaving the planet and starts causing trouble in other parts of the universe. That's too good. Eighth Doctor fell for a pyramid. Oh dear. I was thinking about making the midnight entity the Weeping Angels. Nick Simmons, I was on that train of thought as well. I was like, what's something that would piss people off? First part of 2001, A Space Odyssey. But it's midnight entities. All the midnights build a big dome in space and fight each other. TARDIS is traveling through space, gets restrained by a spaceship. Men with guns come out. Its planet is under quarantine. State your intentions. Ryan, my suggestion is so good. Did you see it? I didn't. Let me roll back. Doctor Who meets the midnight entity and they make out, and K9 comments on it quirkily. The midnight entity's powers are just possessing inanimate objects and moving them around like a haunting. The midnight entity takes over K9 and farts all over the 8th Doctor. The TARDIS gets sick and starts turning into a midnight. Obviously trust the master at some point. Oh dear. I think we should do Midnights. I think that's the best. Let's just remake Alien, but make it Midnight Entities. I will sack Ryan Molyneux if he is the slightest bit mischaracterized. Oh dear. The Midnight Entity goes to Wales. I have an idea, and that's so the Midnight Entity has completely different power sets and motivations every time it's used. So why don't we have it be that the Doctor doesn't recognize that it's this entity because it has completely different power sets and motivations. The Midnight Entity puts itself up as a Craigslist ad for hire. Okay, Ryan, can you add Russell T Davies to the story in a cool scene where he tells you how clever his story is? What about if it's Speed but the Midnight Entity is on the bus? It literally has to write out "I am from Midnight, me Midnight Diamond, Sky Silvestri." How can he recognize it? He's the 8th Doctor. Well, the 10th Doctor should have been able to recognize it if it's something he's run into before. Continuity goes brrr. And maybe we can have the entity be at the end of its lifespan. Oh my god. An aging Midnight Entity decides to live out the one time in its life it was truly happy when it was fighting the Doctor. Jurassic Park with oh my god! Oh my god, that's such a good idea! That's such a good idea! Yeah, I like Toyota's suggestion. I like Toyota's suggestion. The Doctor is invited to serve as a safety expert on a theme park based around breeding and displaying Midnight Entities. Things immediately go wrong. Welcome to Midnight Park. Clever Midnights. Hold on to your Midnights. Toyota's idea wins IMO. I agree. I agree. So are we going to just rip the plot off of Jurassic Park? Is this going to be a story about the Doctor and K9 realizing that maybe they do want to have kids? We spared no expense. Life finds a hole has to be the fucking tagline of this. I do think it should be called Midnights, though. K9 Preg, the Midnight Entity is mad horny after decades of getting no pussy and gets it on with K9. I love that, love that, love that. The shot where you look up to see the dinosaurs, there's nothing, so we can't see because we can't see the entities. We can though. What are you talking about? Thanks to the immortal genius of Russell the Davis, we know exactly what the midnight entity looks like. Hang on. Hang on. Oof. I'm grabbing it. Oof. Unsupported image type. You fuck. Where are you? Yeah, no, just fucking put it in here. All right, no, you know what? Screw this. I'm gonna do it live. I'm gonna do it my way. There we go. There we go. Oof. There we go. Look, it's the midnight entity, guys. It's just a guy in a fucking Halloween costume. It's literally on the wiki. Look at this. Look at this bullshit. Okay. I want to have the midnight entity chasing the Doctor and K9 around like velociraptors. Oh, he's smiling. How cute. Alright, we're writing our story now. So, opening. The Doctor is approached. Oh, I have such a good idea here. Is approached by an eccentric billionaire named Dr. Dick Harpsichord. What do you think? How is the very small ball python going to roll into the midnight plot? Ah, well, you see. Dr. Dick Harpsichord. Please, someone tell me you get that joke. Can someone tell me they get the Dick Harpsichord joke? If you don't, I'm gonna be like really sad. I have never facepalmed so hard in my life. Yes. You get the Dick Harpsichord joke? I'm so glad. So glad someone does. Who is delighted to inform the Doctor that he has been chosen to serve as a safety expert. What are we calling the park? What are we calling this midnight version of Jurassic Park? I don't get it, but I like it. Because the guy from Jurassic Park, the guy that Richard Attenborough plays, the guy who creates the park, his name is Richard Hammond. So Dick Harpsichord. Because a Hammond is a type of organ. So that's the joke. It's just a really bad pun. Just hoping someone else had seen Jurassic Park, I guess. I get that it's a boomer movie. So let's say the creature entity is extinct at this point and Dr. Dick Harpsichord is trying to resurrect the creature. I like that. I like that. I like that. I'm just going to call it Midnight Park for now. Or Midnight Park. Where the long extinct... You know what? We're giving them a canon name. We're giving them a canon name. How about that? How about we give them a canon name and it's the dumbest canon name we can think of? Duskatonians have been brought back from the brink, from extinction, not the brink. There's no brink. They're extinct. The Palace Diamond joke. I like that. I like that. That's good. The Zambudians. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. That's really good. We're going to call them the Zambudians. The Doctor says he's never heard of a Zambudian. To which Dick replies, you have to understand I'm very clever. Stevie George. Phoenixes. I can't believe they Stevie George is too clever. I mean, the Palace is clever. Yeah, no, the Palace is too clever. It needs to be stupid. The Zambudians is perfect. That's actually like the perfect. Before the Doctor can reply, he finds himself on a helicopter over international waters. Bear in mind this can't be set on midnight. Canonically, maybe the midnight entity migrated to another planet after latching on. Oh no, it's set on 20th century Earth. If they're not going to take continuity seriously, then neither am I. That's actually the joke here. We're going to completely change the midnight entity. Again. As they fly over the secret island, the palace has been built on. They see a flock of midnight entities. Entities running across the plain. For hundreds of years, people thought they were invisible, says Dick. Turns out they just look a bit like xenomorphs. Reboot them, a fresh take on the character. Would love it if a random Doctor Who episode set on an alien planet started acting like you. The Watcher knew all the planet's political foibles and had opinions. Oh. You got teleported there, yeah. Yeah, no, we're not taking this seriously at all. So don't take it seriously. You're just gonna hurt yourself. The Doctor nods, pretending to know what's happening. Turns out they are also incredibly easy to contain, says the pilot. Literally, all you need is mirrors. Mirrors. Wow, a race even weaker than the Chumblies, says the Doctor. Can't imagine they're that dangerous. I would like to point out that so far the depiction of the midnight creatures has been exactly consistent. with the well. There should be a character that says I preferred it when we didn't know what they looked like before being corrected by RTD. What if they actually are easy to contain? They are easy to contain. They are easy to contain, Toyota. Like, in the well, they established that the Midnight Entity's weakness is that it can't bear being around a reflective surface, i.e. a fucking mirror. If someone had had a fucking mirror during the episode Midnight, everything would have been fine. K9 gets Alan on the play. Indeed, Master, says K9 while farting. Even mildly challenged by these things. Anyone who gets even mildly challenged by these things is an absolute scrub. Diamond planet, I remind you. Except when it's on the surface of a diamond planet. After walking around a bit, they come across a gigantic pile of midnight scat. Jeff Goldblum materializes for a moment, tries to sell the doctor a shitty apartment, then leaves. Big reveal at the end is the entities turned out to be Susan, who is multi-generated. He did not fart all the time. Russell would do that, though. That's the only thing I know about this K9, so it's their only character trait. Sorry. The shit is bright purple, nobody knows why. The Midnights all start dabbing. This is the Zambudians' mating ritual. Says Dick. Horny buggers. We tried filming it. But the Zambudian... ended up gumming up all the cameras. With what? Says the doctor. You have to understand I'm very clever. It's gonna pop this. It's going to be the response every time. One of the Midnights has an analog horror face jump scare. I have to go do my own, got my own thing I have to work on. Just wanted to stop by for a bit, just as fun as I remember. Always very good to have you here for a bit, Traveller. The Zambudians have comically large peni. I know what we saw in the well was just the tip. Alright, suddenly all the Midnights get loose. But the doctor solves it and it's okay. But are easily rounded up again using mirrors. Wow, this is very exciting, says K9 before getting caught on a stray piece of gravel. I agree, says the doctor. I expected something mysterious and eldritch, but this is just a riff on Jurassic Park. Could be worse, Master. Says K9. It could be a riff on Event Horizon. Oh God, imagine making it very clear your show was aimed at 6-year-olds, then doing an homage to the Event Horizon blood orgy scene. What's a blood orgy? Says K9. There's only one acceptable response here, which is I'll explain later. Says the doctor. Then the doctor asks the audience, is this too meta? This is a weird Doctor Who Unbound episode. We've just... The whole business model of the island is to bring in size queen tourists. K9 knows what a blood orgy is, methinks. Maybe. We're not done yet, though. But then the Midnights escape again. Except now they have totally different powers and big sharp teeth and go boo. Oh yeah, bro's got a Benjamin too. Do you guys know what I'm referring to? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? When I talk about this. I literally can't find video of it because I would get like demonetized instantly. I noticed you've all gotten very quiet. K9 ejaculates. Event Horizon, I am talking about Event Horizon. Toyota knows what I'm talking about. You know why I'm referring to it, Toyota? Do you know why I keep referring to the blood orgy scene in Event Horizon? Yes? Okay, good. Did you also clock that when you watched the episode? Is it like the blood ray from Blade? No. No. So basically, in the movie Event Horizon, when they go onto the ship, the Event Horizon, which is a ship that's possessed by a space devil, all the crew are gone, and they look at the security footage, and in the security footage, they see the crew having an orgy while tearing their own flesh off and like ripping their own eyes out and shit. basically. It's all pretty awful. But the reason why I keep bringing up the blood orgy scene in Event Horizon is because The Well by Russell T Davies has that scene in it. You make the fire pump out my inside. I can't do it. I feel like that kind of scene is older than Event Horizon, but I see the point of comparison. I feel like it's a direct rip off of Event Horizon, and the reason why Toyota is because hello.
Hi.
The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, which was also by Russell T Davies, is just a remake of Event Horizon. So I think it's interesting too. And it's like filmed and framed almost exactly the same way. And it's not the only like lift from a film in that episode. Maybe the real well was the friends we made along the way. One of my favorite bits of is in the behind the scenes thing when Russell says that you know the spacesuits in the well, they're supposed to remind you of the Avengers time travel suits from Avengers Endgame. He talks about how he wanted it to remind the audience of Avengers Endgame. And it's like, these suits look like garbage though. Jesus. But then the Midnights escape again, except now they have totally different powers and big sharp teeth and go boo. After many, many, many jump scares. Nice, Russell. Hang on. There's another one too. This, while we're on the subject, this exact shot is also in the well as well. They even have the shot of the astronauts walking up to it. Oh dear. I feel like Doctor Who is slowly turning into Five Nights at Freddy's because of these new scary episodes. Endless Buffy shilling RTD versus Endless Marvel shilling RTD. I miss the Buffy shilling RTD, to be honest. You see, Avengers is good and popular, and RTD is very clever. 2008 RTD fights 2025 RTD. Who wins? 2008 RTD. Can you add the guy that just loudly drove past as a character? I can, yes. After many and an underutilized performance. Oh wait, no. Wait, no. And an underutilized performance from Samuel L. Jackson. The Doctor and K9 lead the Midnights into a big room where the T-Rex I totally set up beforehand eats them all. The Doctor and K9 decide the time has come to start thinking about having children. The end. There we go. There we go. That's how it ends. 2008 because he was younger and fit and still had a husband to keep fit for. Like physically fight. So 2008, Russell would win. Absolutely. Oh. They decide to get a ball python as practice. There you go. I got it, Toyota. I got it in there. Avengers 1 was good. After that, I think Infinity War and Endgame were good. I think Age of Ultron is very rough. Ryan, did you read my suggestion? No. Plot twist, 8th Doctor wakes up as the first Doctor, turns out to be a prequel to An Earthly Child. It's quite a good suggestion. Woo! Endgame is actively bad. Okay, Naja win. Yeah, but you like Sherlock, so... Just realised the fit dentist wasn't in this. Maybe next time. What does actively bad mean? I think the first Avengers movie is technically overrated, but it's more of a moment than a movie. Yes, you have to understand the cultural impact that first one had for like people who were old enough to remember and appreciate it. It was like Star Wars. It was crazy. Let Naja cook. No. You had me for 10 more minutes, so we can talk about that. The eigenvalues form an Mobius strip. Yeah, but that's just technobabble and it doesn't actually matter. What matters is things like characters, themes, and plot. Actively deserves the physics gulag. Okay, but like, I don't give a fuck about any of that. I care about the fact that all of the characters had satisfying arcs, about the fact that they actually tried to do like a science fiction movie with a concept. I care about the fact that they paid off like dozens of movies worth of plot hooks and character arcs in a fairly satisfying way. I care about that stuff a lot more than I care about like whether or not it technically got the physics right, because nothing ever gets the physics right. Some of the technobabble in the Marvel movies are realistic, like in 4. Good, and that's like a thing that's a nice little thing that makes the movie a little bit better. But it getting physics wrong doesn't make it bad. Endgame's Captain America arc is out of character, changed my mind. What do you mean? Or in the early Iron Man movies, there's 1 or 2 big lies. This is just incoherent. They didn't explain the time travel rules well. It's the same time travel as Dragon Ball Z. It's not that complicated. Yeah, but they just toss terms together that don't make sense. There's way better ways to make it sound more realistic. I agree. I just don't care. Beatbox the episode, Ryan. Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats. I did it. It's about, I suppose, what your priorities as an audience member are, and ours are just different. I don't know what to say. No, I get it, but they didn't explain it well in the movie. They treated it like a joke, which in my opinion was the correct thing to do. You should treat that stuff as a joke, because otherwise it bogs down your plot. Also, no Thor scene without a joke, thanks. Chris Hemsworth is a really talented comedian. I like that they leaned into the fact that he's very, very funny. And I mean, he does get like one of the best arcs in the entire movie. I love his arc about like dealing with his depression and realizing like he's worth something. Holt's arc got resolved before the beginning of the movie. Let the episode get a post-credit scene. I mean, Hulk's arc was about, like, finding a way to be, like, a hero without being the Hulk, because he was being evasive from the Hulk. And, I mean, the solution that they set up was that he needed to embrace the fact that he was the Hulk, and then they subverted it by showing that, no, he can actually be the greatest hero of all without any of that. Yeah, but he was also depressed, pick a lane. I mean, I don't know, because, I mean, I have horrible depression, and I related to it hard. I think you can tell stories about depression and still, like, tell jokes. I think that's actually fine. I think that's okay. The post-credit scene is K9 telling the doctor he has a toothache. That's quite good. And the next episode is called A Holiday for K9. Not every scene a joke, though. I mean, I don't agree. I saw this movie a week ago, and I don't agree. I think the scene where he meets his mom again and realizes that he's still, like, worthy of Mjolnir, I think that's a fantastic scene. I wouldn't change a single beat in it. I just can't agree with that. I don't know. I thought it was cool that they slowed down the action. Also, the Cap-Tony conflict isn't resolved. That I agree with, but it also wasn't resolved in the comics. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you there. There wasn't really room to it. And I agree with you, though. I agree with you, though, because I think, Nick, one change I would make to Endgame. One change I would change to Endgame, actually. Nick. One change I would make to Endgame. You know the bit where Iron Man, like, calls out Captain America, and he's like, oh, you just wanted to give up a few little freedoms, you just wanted to, like, you know, have an ideology and stuff, you should have let me turn the world into a prison, so we could have fought. You know what the bit I mean? The bit where he turns to Steve and he's like, this is all your fault for some reason. I would have loved it if Cap had been like, listen, son, while you were off gallivanting away to Titan, I assembled the greatest fighting force in human history. I fought the greatest army in the universe and almost fucking won while you were off trying to 1v1 a god and dragging a child along to get murdered. I was busy actually being the leader of the Avengers. You don't have a leg to stand on. You're lucky we don't just put you in jail and impound all of your suits. I would have loved that. That's something I could have used. Just Cap being like, the moment you went off on your own, you guaranteed that we were going to lose. No, I disagree. Tony needed to vent. Cap recognized that it's in character. No, I agree. I just really want to slap Tony because he needed to vent about circumstances that he created. Cap's position is literally Second Amendment propaganda, though. Cap's position is, 2 years ago, I found out that the United Nations Security Council and the US government was run by literal Nazis. I don't think that we should give control over who we go and fight and when we go and fight to people who were proven to be Nazis a movie ago. That's Cap's position. I do not think it's Second Amendment propaganda. Iron Man's position is, I made a killer robot that tried to destroy the world, and I have killed hundreds of thousands of children through my arm sales that made me rich, and now you need to be held accountable for my actions. That's Tony's position. I mean, in the comics... Tony does a false flag terror attack on Capitol Hill just to get the Registration Act passed. I don't think that Tony has much of a moral authority in the comics either. He literally makes one more day happen by gaslighting Spider-Man into revealing his true identity. Tony's not great in the comics. Tony's a fascist in the comics. Especially in Civil War. Like, generally, he is a bit. Tony in Civil War, I was wrong about Ultron. Tony in Endgame, I was right about Ultron. But Cap's still Second Amendment propaganda. You know what? I will take Second Amendment propaganda over fascist propaganda any day of the week. Guess what? Second Amendment versus fascism. Second Amendment is the morally correct choice there. And there is not even a debate. Sigma Tony stuff. Bro clones 4 without his consent and then uses the clone 4 to murder an unarmed black teenager. The Civil War comic is insane. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. Like, objectively, if we had superpowered individuals, we'd want them to register in the same sense that we want kind of owners to have some regulation. Yeah, I agree, but there's never been a version of the Registration Act that's been reasonable. One of the restrictions in the original Registration Act was on whether mutants were allowed to have children or not. But, like, the thing is, like... The regulations had shit like, if you have powers, you are drafted into Black Ops, whether you like it or not. And as we have learned from real history, when the government starts with something like that, they're planning on taking more and more and more and more and more. I'm 100% against it. They should adapt that to the film. I don't know. I just don't think that they've been... Cap is maximalist in the comics, but yes, I agree. It's explicitly too unreasonable science. Yeah, it is too unreasonable science. I don't think you should be... Cap is forced to be maximalist in the comics as well. Like, he doesn't have a choice. He literally doesn't. But I'm gonna head off now. I'm going to be streaming later on as well. You'll be able to catch me there. I'm actually doing Rivals tonight, I think. So, that should be good. Bye! Have a good time, everyone. Enjoy!